They didn't just mislead you about trading, they sold you a comforting lie. They told you the difference between failure and success was knowledge, that if you just found the right strategy, the right indicators, the right mentor, the right system, everything would finally click. But if that were true, the markets would be overflowing with profitable traders. They aren't, because the real separator has nothing to do with charts, setups, or intelligence. It has everything to do with what happens to you when real money is on the line, when certainty collapses, when patience feels unbearable, and when the market forces you to confront who you actually are. I learned this the hard way. I turned a handful of dollars into a fortune most men only dream about. Then, I lost it. I made it back. Lost it again. 4 bankruptcies. Enormous wins. Crushing defeats. And through that cycle of building and destruction, I discovered something no course will ever teach you. There are 3 brutal stages. Every trader must survive all 3 before consistent profit ever becomes possible. These stages have nothing to do with learning more. They are about becoming someone else entirely. If you stay with this until the end, you'll know exactly which stage you're trapped in right now, and more importantly, what that stage is demanding from you. Because misidentifying your stage is how traders waste years repeating the same mistakes, wondering why nothing changes. This isn't about success stories. It's about the suffering nobody talks about. The part of the journey that scares most people away before they ever get close. And you need to understand something before we go any further. The pain you feel in trading is not proof that you're failing. It's proof that the market is teaching you. Most never survive long enough to finish the lesson. The market doesn't exist to reward effort or intelligence. It exists to reveal character. And it will expose every weakness you bring into it. These stages aren't optional. They aren't negotiable. You can't skip them, outsource them, or buy your way around them. They strip you down, piece by piece, until only what works remains. And the trader who emerges at the end is not the person who began. Stage 1. The slaughter of certainty. Stage 1 always begins the same way, with confidence. You make a few winning trades, maybe more than a few. You start to feel like the market makes sense, like you can see patterns others miss. Numbers seem to speak to you. Price movements feel logical, predictable. You don't feel reckless. You feel right. That's the danger. Certainty is intoxicating. It convinces you that hesitation is weakness and risk management is unnecessary. When you're sure, you don't think in probabilities, you think in outcomes. You stop asking if you're wrong and start assuming you aren't. And then the market turns. Not politely. Not gradually. It turns violently. Without explanation or warning. You load up on a trade that feels obvious. The setup looks perfect. Every part of your analysis agrees with you. And then price moves against you. At first, you're calm. It's just noise. A pullback. Then the loss grows. Your confidence hardens into stubbornness. You hold. You rationalize. You add. And then the market does what it always does to certainty. It crushes it. Not just your position, but your identity. You don't just lose money in stage 1, you lose the version of yourself that believed intelligence alone was enough. This stage is humiliating. It exposes how much of your decision-making was driven by ego, not understanding. It teaches you that being clever doesn't make you safe, and conviction doesn't make you right. The first great truth of trading reveals itself here. You don't know nearly as much as you think you do. Most people quit at this point. They call the market rigged. They blame insiders, algorithms, manipulation. But the market isn't cheating them. It's showing them the cost of certainty. Those who survive stage 1 don't become confident traders. They become humble ones. And humility isn't passive. It's painful. It means accepting that being wrong is inevitable and survivable. Stage 1 ends the moment you stop trying to prove you're right and start trying to stay alive. But humility alone doesn't make money. It only prepares you for the next test. Stage 2. The discipline of waiting. Stage 2 is quieter, and in many ways, harder. Now you actually start to see the market more clearly. The illusions are gone. You recognize real opportunities when they appear. And that's the torture. Because you also realize how few of them truly matter. This stage teaches you the most counterintuitive skill in trading: doing nothing. You watch setups form and dissolve. You see trades you could take, but shouldn't. You feel the pull to act, to participate, to stay engaged. And you resist it. This resistance feels like stagnation. You aren't losing much anymore, but you aren't winning fast either. Your equity curve inches upward instead of exploding. Patience feels like wasted potential. But this is where real traders are forged. The market doesn't reward activity. It rewards restraint. You learn that being early is indistinguishable from being wrong, that the best opportunities require waiting longer than feels comfortable, that most money is lost not from bad trades, but from unnecessary ones. In stage 2, you stop battling the market and start battling yourself. Your boredom, your impatience, your fear of missing out. You begin to recognize that your greatest enemy isn't volatility or uncertainty. It's your need for action. And slowly, something changes. Your losses stay small. Your winners are allowed to run. Your decisions feel calmer, cleaner. You aren't chasing anymore. Stage 2 ends when patience stops feeling like restraint and starts feeling like power, when waiting no longer feels passive, but strategic. Yet even discipline isn't the final transformation. Because there is one more stage, and it demands everything you've built so far. Stage 3. Becoming the market. Stage 3 is rarely discussed because it sounds irrational to anyone who hasn't earned it. By now, you no longer think in terms of predictions. You aren't trying to outsmart the market. You aren't attached to outcomes. You are listening, not to news, not to opinions, to the movement itself. The market stops feeling like an external opponent and starts feeling like a living system you're part of. You sense when a trade is wrong before the numbers confirm it. You exit not because a rule tells you to, but because something shifts. This isn't guessing. It's recognition. Pattern recognition so deeply internalized that it bypasses conscious thought. In this stage, you stop fighting price. You stop needing validation. You stop explaining yourself. And that's what makes it lonely. You can't justify your decisions the way you used to. You just know when alignment is there, and when it isn't. This isn't mystical. It's earned through thousands of hours, countless losses, and absolute honesty with yourself. You don't abandon discipline here. You transcend mechanics without ignoring them. Stage 3 traders don't force trades. They allow them. They don't try to control the market. They adapt to it. And this is where consistency finally becomes inevitable, not because you've mastered the market, but because you've mastered your relationship with it. The truth few are willing to accept. There are no shortcuts through these stages. No book can spare you. No mentor can absorb the pain for you. You must lose. You must wait. You must endure isolation, not because the market is cruel, but because it is exacting. It removes everything that doesn't belong until only what works remains. And when you finally emerge on the other side, something becomes clear. The money was never the reward. It was the byproduct. What you gained was something rarer: self-trust under uncertainty, calm in chaos, clarity without guarantees. The trader you become at the end of this journey is capable of far more than profit. If you are struggling right now, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're in the process. The market will take as long as it needs to teach you what you refuse to learn quickly. Your job is not to rush, not to impress, not to force results. Your job is to survive. Because on the other side of certainty, patience, and surrender, something waits for those who endure. Not just success, mastery. And there is no feeling in the world quite like it.